piece of bread.
Oh my God.
Oh
You're
shit.
you're crazy. I love it.
There's an avocado one too, man. It's amazing. Oh shit. So that's what I was wondering. All right, I'm gonna be picking one. You choose a bread, but now that you're watching it, let me see which one should you be getting, the bread or the avocado one? But that's pesos, bro. That's like I don't know. Did we die by 20? It's not expensive.
One looks like a testicle and one looks like a vagina.
Dude, I don't know what. I don't want to know which one is the black one, man. I don't. Both cases are just not good, man.
And that's a wrap. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Oh shit! That's amazing. Oh, but we're not here about talking about. Are we? Let's just go ahead and bring out the charts, man. How was your day? Your trading day? Yeah. Oh man, this is just too funny.
All
That's
right.
nasty looking testicle little face. If he does looks like that, see a doctor. Yes, man. Oh, all right. So, show me how your morning went, my friend. You mentioned that you might be long today. Let me see.
I took two longs. I took the retest of the highs in here, so I took a long here, up, and then I took a long here, up, and I'm out. Uh, Quick $1,000 for the day, and I'm done, kind of deal. So, uh, took both of those longs right here, share them on the chart. I'm out now, so long and long right here, just continuation trades basically. Okay, in and out. However, this morning was very, I would say, shit. If we're gonna talk about price action, because like very, I mean, you bounced off both golden pockets here. So you had here, golden pocket 786. You have here golden pocket 786. So you bounced off of here. So you rolled over. I longed here. Very small position size, $150 as well. Before the stream, but then the stream came up to there, came down to here, and then chopped VWAP. Okay, so not a very fun morning, very slow in here. So no real direction. And then, it's starting when you start going 786, 786, 786, what do you start building? Your favorite? We get a symmetrical triangle, right? So uh what was clear this morning was that we have the highs to take. And I'm surprised we haven't gone a bit higher because when I zoom out and we look at like some key areas that we are looking for, uh 88.7 is really where I'm looking for the big short. Okay. And then we have another key level at 89,650, which is our quarterly pivot. Okay. So for now, we've hit the liquidity in this area in here, but we haven't swept the high in this high up here yet. So 88,700 is kind of that target. However, when looking at this, what's interesting is that Bitcoin is pumping this morning and the Nasdaq is dumping. Okay? The S&P is dumping. Okay? So very mixed signals right now. Very mixed. So for me, it's a little bit of a risky market right now, not understanding the direction. Also, if we look at Bitcoin dominance, dominance is pumping when Bitcoin's pumping. Okay? Dominance breaking out right now. So a lot of interesting things, in my opinion, going on in the market. We can also see that a lot of our altcoins are pushing up. Okay? However, I wouldn't get too bullish just yet. I'm sure you guys just have to watch some Army Piper and then you'll feel better about your bullish sentiment. Okay. But I'd be very careful here. Why? Why would I be careful here? Well, very simply, when we look at this and we've gone up only, okay, so we have a weekend pump. Didn't take the low here. Big push up, consolidation, big push up. Coming to sweep these highs here. If we're looking at our value area and we look at this as a range over here, we're tapping that value area high as we speak, right? So what should we be looking for at the top of our premium zones? We should be looking for shorts. However, the trend is still up, so we want to be a little bit more picky when it comes to taking shorts just yet, okay? So right now, big push on the weekend, big push right now. Retest the previous highs, continuation trades still on the table here. We do have a little bit of a balloon dog, okay? It's got 3 legs though, okay? Trying to break out. And like we said, we got a couple targets above us, right? So our targets above us. Looking at these areas, okay? Trying to get up above 88,700. I would love an SFP up here. That would be ideal. So like a little breakout SFP breakdown. And then we do have that quarterly pivot coming in at 89,650. Okay, and then if we get acceptance up here, we have a different kind of ball game to look at, right? If we're looking at this, we have retesting of previous lows coming in right around 90 to 91,000. So this is going to be the mother of all resistance, okay? Meaning if we try to push up here, we're going to probably get rejected because it's a big level of resistance. So be aware, well aware of that. But for now, short-term time frames, we're pushing. Not an easy trade right now. For me, I would look for an SFP of some sort and then a rejection down. Wait for that change in structure to get short. Don't FOMO in at the top. That's how I would treat it right now. So a little bit of patience. We'll see where it goes. What are you looking at, OC?
Oh, perfect. I just FOMO in at the top. You mentioned FOMO in at the top. Perfect. Bye.
Perfect.
Just perfect.
You're rich.
Oh, love it. I'm looking to, in fact, I already have taken some profits. I'm looking to maybe for a possible re-entry. Not at this point, maybe a couple of candles. I'm looking for maybe 5 to 6 candles movement. Hopefully that plays out and I'm not left behind. I did close fully this position, and let me explain why in a little bit. But let's go live and let's see if it doesn't kick me out of Discord. We'll see. All right, perfect. Seems like it's working. All right, so finally, I think I got it fixed. Let's just recap for a little bit. Let me just remove a couple of things in here that are just making a little bit of noise, right? But let me just zoom out just slightly bit in here. The first thing that I want you guys to notice, it is the same thing that we've been just drilling your heads with. It is this huge, ginormous trend line, all right? The Gynosaurus trend line. The next thing is not about the breakout, it's about the retest, right? Based on that trend line breakout retest, we broke out, right? We retested it, and then off we go. All right, we have a secondary test, but that's fine. The next thing that we were looking at, it is the breakout of this structure here, right? Double bottom. It is not about, it's not about the breakout. It's about your retest, your entry, and off we go. How do we know? Well, then, couple of things. First, swing fail pattern, kind of like that's what I was expecting to play it out in that area, but in the maybe not a swing failure pattern, but a double bottom, right? Either of those, we're talking about that would be good for the liquidations to be regularized, right? So not to have too much disparity. So find some equilibrium in the market. It did play it out. The next thing, it was the Wyckoff accumulation scheme or schematic, all right? Remember that based on my opinion, we were on the spring. The spring, despite you see a V-shaped recovery, that doesn't mean that right here it is a V-shape. I mean, it depends on how you see it. If you go to daily, of course that we have a V-shaped recovery, right? No doubt about it. But if we go to the 4 hours, well, then we can see that that V-shaped recovery, it is compounded out of a double bottom. Whatever we're looking for, oh, and we have an elote here. By the way, this, shit, this is the other one I was looking at, but sorry.
Oh my god.
So despite what we're looking for, we were expecting a bottoming signal, right? So the spring is actually a bottoming signal. A sweep of the lows, sweep failure pattern, V-shaped recovery, double bottom, higher low, whichever, right? And then what we had, what I was expecting, it is this next area right here, this itty bitty triangle, this breakout retest, this tiny one. I mean, what is that? For me, it's very significant because that means that we're coming back into the outer range. Nonetheless, the range that we've been trading, all right? When we start closing inside the range, as with any other pattern, having called it a triangle, call it a whatever, when we start breaking in back from a fake out, right, which this is what it looked like a fake out, when we start closing back in, the chances of hitting the top, it becomes bigger, like amazingly bigger, higher than a 60%, right? So that is something to note. And what happened here? Well, then that's what we got. We have our outer range, right? And what we start doing is closing back inside of our outer range. What do we look for? We look for a retest, right? So what we had in here, high, lower high, low, double bottom, trend line is not about your breakout, it's about your retest, looking at your previous support, confluence between support and trend line, our first entry. This was a half of an entry. We took some profits in here as we were breaking through retest and slamming the trend line out half of a position. So we're still 1/4% in. And what we do that at this point, what are we looking at? We're looking at the next part, which is the next bounce in and then retracement, full position in here for me. And off we go. What happened here? It's not as easy as it seems, but still pretty easy when you're looking for whatever could happen, right? Let me just get rid of this other possibility that I was expecting and maybe sweep of the lows. That's what I use to calculate my next stop loss. So what happens here? We go low, I enter, I take some profits, move my stop to entry, stop me out. Did not re-enter, did re-enter the next week in here, re-enter, move my stop to profit, and I have not. And then the weekend came, Friday came, I went, I got married, and then today I just woke up with a happy present. By the way, I also find a 500 bill throwing in the street today that I'm married. So I think those are very nice signals, man. I don't know. Yeah, dude. I don't have my wallet here, but I wanted to show it to you. But yeah, that was like, hey, what's that? It looked like a note, right? And I closed in, and dude, I was with her, and this is amazing. I'm a religious guy. You don't need to be religious, but I was like, thanks God. I'm gonna fold it and put it to the corner so you can fit more of them, right? If you want to send more. So I'm always welcome, right? So I always welcome your gifts. So there we go. So basically today I woke up, and since I actually was worried, because I had my stop to entry. I was thinking, hey, what would it happen? I mean, yesterday I went to bed like 12 in the morning. Well, it was midnight, right? So I did not look at the charts, too tired, so on and so forth. But today played out very, very nicely. I already had taken profits. Why? Let me show you why. If I zoom out a little bit, well, then I did not explain the megaphone, but I think it explains itself, right? Let's go back into the past, right? What we've been charting for a long time. This is one of the things. What do we have here? We have a channel, right? The red channel. Not only that, if I zoom out, remember that we've been tracking the blue candles from 2021. This is the same thing that happened in 2021. What are we doing? It's not about the breakout, it's about the retest, maybe previous highs, and maybe this is what I'm expecting at this point. Why? We are already at the top of the range. Not only that, remember that we explained this in detail. We explored it in detail. Let's take a look at that detail once again. This is the detailed arranging zones, right? How do we came up with this? Support, resistance, trend lines, and predictive ranges. Nothing out of the ordinary. We've been using this for a long time. We just predicted the range, the inner range, which is the profits range, and the outer range, which is your entry range. All right. So what happens, for example, in here, I enter, stop me out, re-enter once again, and then off I go, take some profits, stop me out, re-enter once again, then take some profits, then stop me out, right? Re-enter once again, right here, and so we rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. In fact, there's something else that we explored Friday, but first, what do we do at the top of the range? What do we do at the top of the range? And where are we right now? We are, come on, at the top of the range. So, could it go higher? Yeah, of course, it could go to, I don't know, 94. In fact, if I just drop in here my indicators, I'll see that I have a large area of resistance somewhere around 92, and then another around 94. But am I just going to go after I already have earned that much money, which is, what is it? I'm a 10x. So it was like a 30%? Yeah, a little bit more, like 40%. There you go, like 40 something percent. After taking a 40% trade, am I going to be risking it? No, not at all, right? And why is that? Because I could be wrong. Because this thing right here is not the future. It's just a possibility out of many. All right. So what do? I take my profits here, and if it breakouts, if it retests, I re-enter, and off we go. If not, I'll just do it just like gold. Let me just refer back to that in a second, so we can see what happens with gold, right? Because gold is been a hard fish to catch, man, like hard. I mean, I haven't sold. Where is it gold? But come on, the entries or re-entries on gold, they've been hard because it's just been pushing onwards. Where's your re-entry? Well, we want to see more structure. We were expecting that structure, but what we had in here, it was a actual flag sweep of the lows, your entry, and off you go. You take your profits at the top, breaks out, that's fine. You're still within a percentage in here because we are looking for a retracement ever since we were talking about this area. All right. So the same thing will be happening with Bitcoin. If I get this retrace, that's going to be my entry. If not, that's fine. On the break of the previous highs, that's my entry with risk, right? That's it. That's exactly what I'm going to be looking for. Breakout, retest, my entry. As long as I'm flipping off the zero line, that is my call. That is my ding, ding, ding entry. And off I go to my next resistance. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right. Am I going to be shorting this? Looks like I want to start shorting because so far we're just turning bullish, but that retest looks juicy. All right. So another thing that could be what is it? Bullish, right? Would be retracement to this trend line, right? This trend line from this base, this base, this base, and then off we go. But I don't think that's gonna happen. Why is that? Let's go back to Friday. All right, Friday. Remember, we were planning for both cases scenarios. What happened there? Why did we plan on this? What is it that makes at this point? Because we have something very important here, which is, and only if I can find it. Come on, you gotta be kidding me. Man, I look just like a newbie. What is the head and shoulders thing? Head and shoulders, here we go. Look at this. What are we doing right now? In fact, that kind of like looks cricket to the upside, right? Head and shoulders. And look at our first entry, look at a secondary entry, and look at my third impossible entry. Timing, of course, is not as I was expecting. we still can have, or we could be aiming for one last chance in there as we go back downwards. The higher we go, the higher the retracement we're going to be expecting. All right. So don't rush. This is going to come. You just need to be patient. All right. So what was the other way around? Breaking the neckline with a sweep of the lows. All right. Creating a new trend line, breaking the structure, and then on the previous supports becomes new resistance. Off we go. What happened? Plan A happened. But that's why we have plan A and plan B, right? Because we want to make money regardless. If you only plan for longs, you're only going to be making money when you have a good long setup. But if you plan for long and a short or a multiple setup long, you're going to keep making money regardless as long as the then thing moves, right? And that's what we want to do. We are ambitious, not greedy, but ambitious, all right? So that's what I'm seeing right now. The inverted head and shoulders is playing out. Let me measure the actual target. So it doesn't mean that it's going to play it out. In fact, I do believe that these targets are exaggerated. All right. I usually go for a little bit of a less target, something like that. So are we half the way? Yeah. But does that mean that we're going to go in one single candle? Maybe. I don't expect it to, but it's a possibility, and I would not be putting my faith on it. So the answer will be no. Despite we can see that happening here, I would say that we're not going to be doing that right here. Why? Because have you guys looked at the Dow Jones? Have you looked at gold? Have you looked at the Dixie? Have you guys looked at everything else? It seems that the rotation of capital, it is going from traditional market indexes to gold and backlashing from gold to Bitcoin, right? So that backlash means still Bitcoin secondary right behind gold, right? So means first golds need to pump, and then Bitcoin, with the leftovers, will do whatever it can, all right? So that's what I got so far on Bitcoin. I see that you guys tagged me here. Let me read it. OC says, credit for my soul. What's up? Should we all be longing on gold for the rest of the year? Yes and no. Depends on your entry point. If you want to do a DCA, but there are no financial advice, but we're seeing fear in the markets, right? Check out the beginning on today's Piper Academy. I hosted it. I talked about how everything is going red and why gold is going up because of the fear of the market. As long as we have fears in the market, we're going to be seeing gold moving. So there's a caveat here. And this is one of the conversations that I have with Piper where I was like, hey, we are in a recession. He's hold on your horses, buddy. We're not in a recession, right? And I like, dude, we have everything. No, we have everything but jobs numbers, but rate cuts, right? So we are not into a recession. We're building up on that recession. So what happened with smart money? Buy the rumor, sell the news, right? What's going to happen now? What I think that we're seeing that migration of capital to gold. And then if we get recessionary called out, like, hey guys, we're in recession, or better yet, when we have, and we talked about this Friday, if I'm not mistaken, when the Fed calls for an emergency rates meeting, that's it. That is the gun shooting to the air. Let's go to the races. Bang, right? And then, that's when you kind of, hey, am I late? Am I late? What? Come on, I need to watch all the videos. No. Start watching them now, right? Start preparing now. So my answer to you, I'm already in gold from a long time. Are you on gold? Your next possible entry, it is not up here. It is on structure. Even if you enter here and then you trickle down when you hit dynamic
record. It's not sharing.
Oh, man, thank you for that. Oh, sorry for that. All right, so here's gold, and go live. All right. So far, let me just clear this up. And I was saying your entry is not here. Your entry is on structure. Even if your entry was here, you're doing it right. You are entering on structure retracement. right? And then if it goes lower, this is your entry. And if it goes lower to dynamic reactor, your entry. And that's it. Pause your horses there. Wait for the price action to go back up, right? Break through, big body candle, maybe your next entry. On structural retracement, your next entry. Or structural retracement, your next entry. When is your entry? Structure retracement, right? So why is that? Gold, it is a reserve of value. Very manipulated. Very manipulated, but still a reserve of value. And just food for thought, China has been buying gold like crazy. The US and Mexico has been talking about their gold reserves being held on, what was this freaking country? I don't know. And they don't want to hang it over. Why would that be? We need to bring out the tinfoil hat for that, but I'm not gonna be talking about it in this class because I think that's gonna be a too deep of a rabbit hole, right? And yeah, and the important, the fun, but also the danger on the rabbit holes is that there is information that we cannot know, so it's open to speculation. So the more that you speculate, the farther you get to the truth, right? But it's just like a blind man, sorry, right? Either you're getting closer by chance or farther by speculation, but there's nothing else that we can do. So that's what I always say. When we're speculating, let's go far. Why? Because at this point, we're just guessing. So let's guess in big, right? So that's why we're not going to be taking a look at it because this is going to be too much of a rabbit hole. That's what I'm seeing. Let me see if I have any other questions. Any use for FIP projection or whatever the chart price indicators? We have a couple of FIPS projections. I would be suggesting the Piper Sniper Kit because I give you a very nice FIP retracement levels. I can get heat map indicators on my chart for some reason. Heat map indicator. Let me get it for you, my friend. All right. It is liquidations. If you're talking about this one, this is liquidations. If you want to go watch it or grab it, just click the three dots or something, do about this script, and here's what I can share it to you. Let me just copy and paste it. There we go. So that way you can just add it to favorites. Here we go, add it to favorites, and then you can add it from your favorites. That's the one. Oh, that's the one that I'm using. All right. Hopefully that answers your question, my friend. What else? Alex, we have a question also for you. And then 4 hours dynamic reactor breaking through. Do you guys like physical gold and silver? Yes, I do. I just have few physical gold. I just have some revolutionary gold coins because that's what it's left over from my grandmother that passed gold to all of her grandchilds. I do have a lot of silver. Not as much as Piper, but I do have some physical silver. Quick thing, I've been using that as to buy my now wife jewelry out of silver. I know I'm paying premium, but I'm going, all right, if I'm going to be buying, let's buy it for her, right? So, and then I do have gold bonds, by the way. All right, enough of me talking. Let me pass it over to you, Alex. What do you think? What are your perspective for the foreseeable future?
I'm bullish, man. I just want to see a couple of things fall into place. I mean, for me, it's like getting above into this higher range is going to be critical. Is Bitcoin going to do it now? We're not magicians. OC's got his magic crystal ball, but looking at gold, and if we zoom out on gold, we can do this. This is important. Gold tends to front run Bitcoin. Okay, we can look at this, right? So Bitcoin's dropping here, but look, as gold starts to ramp up here, this is kind of interesting. So as gold is pushing here, Bitcoin's consolidating here, right? And then Bitcoin catches up, right? You see that? Right? So Bitcoin's consolidating here. Gold is ramping up, right? And you can see this happen time and time and time again. So is that what's going to happen, right? Not necessarily, but for me, people are unsure, right? And I think the big scare right now is what's Trump going to do with Jerome Powell, right? It's is this guy going to get fired? Because I think if he gets fired, the markets are fucked. That's me. But gold, I mean, hitting key levels all the way up, right? Continues to rip. But eventually, I think gold will cool down. Okay. Some sort of consolidation. I see 36 to 32 in here. So if we can consolidate in here, I think that will give us some strength. Now, also looking at the NASDAQ, I mean, we've had that in stocks. Okay. The Fibonacci level you want to watch is the 50%. Okay. So if you go from high to low here, was it here? It was here. You can see that we've come back to the 50% of this giant range here. And we've rejected, right? Right here. So what we're looking for is some sort of relief, right? Is this just a another lower high coming down, or are we going to bottom out, right? And that's kind of where we're at with this. But we've come back to some critical levels, right? You can see how well we retested this previous high here. So for me, we want to see at least some sort of accumulation in here if we're going to get pushed up. Now, it's interesting because we do have dominance flying right now, and we're coming up to that key level, in my opinion, 66. 66, which is our 786 of this giant range in here. So there's potential for us to come in and to have that. Now, the key is can we get rate cuts, and can we get quantitative easing, right? Jerome said he wasn't going to do it, right? That's what he said. And Trump got pissed. So we're basically victims to these two idiots playing a game of ping pong with our portfolios. So what's the best thing in that case? It's to make sure you're not overexposed, right? So if we do dump, you're not losing a big amount of money, rotating your capital into some more safer assets. But our best skill is that we know how to trade. So we can make money and increase our USDT in this market and take advantage of price action. There's a couple of good charts. I do like the ETH chart. Funny enough, I like the ETH chart, eh? But why do I like the ETH chart? Because it's respected levels, okay? So ETH has put in a nice bullish divergence in here. It's pushed out. It's mitigated the high. It's retraced here, right? Now, that doesn't mean I don't think ETH can't come back down to 1,500. If we're going to lose some support here, I do think that's still possible. It's just a matter of is it going to hold here or not, right? It's very much that. As we can see, Bitcoin's ripping. It's very much like, look at this nice move. But ETH is looking strong in comparison to a lot of things, right? You can see some of the altcoins rallying up. It's not our job to, Sui's looking good. That came off of our key level as well. Okay, Injectives pushing up. What I'm looking for is a retest right now on most of these things. I'm looking for the breakout, retest, continuation trade. Okay, on a lot of these, they all look very similarly, right? So a little bit of patience. Solana looks the best most recently as well. So Solana's had a nice breakout, but Solana needs to get above 150. We have nice Wyckoff in here. Does that mean that this is our spring and go? I wouldn't say so just yet. Typically, you get something like that, maybe falling wedge. So I'd be very, very careful getting overly bullish right now. But there is some hopium in the air, as we can see. At the end of the day, all it takes is him to make a deal with China on tariffs, which he could announce at any time. He can be like, okay, sorry about that. China and I have figured whatever. It doesn't matter if it's like a big deal, as long as they give the market certainty, right? That's what matters. And there's no certainty right now. So we wait, right? We wait for that certainty. And that's what we're looking for, right? But for now, I'd be patient. That's kind of what I'm looking at.
I think you're spot on. I mean, despite I'm taking profits, and I think I want to make this clear also because I think I went too bearish on you guys, right? I mean, maybe doing a recap of my head, I was like, hey, doomsday, right? We're going to hell. I don't think so. Remember, we've been buying, we are long, right? We're optimistically cautious. So I think JR mentioned it, right? I'm bullishly short or something. You mentioned that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're taking profit zones, right? That's it. But we're in a bullish structure at this point. Wyckoff schematic. So showing us we're breaking ranges, we're breaking resistances. We want to start hitting supports, right? So as long as I see that breakout retest, man, I'm just so happy. I'm happy because remember, guys, all of my savings account for my retirement are on Bitcoin. Is this a long shot? Yes, but I started a couple of years ago and it's been playing fantastic, like phenomenal for me. All right, so phenomenal, phenomenal, perfect. So just going nuts on that. Other than that, I would say, guys, try to be cautious. There's not much that I want to prolong this session for. Altcoins at this point, I'd rather wait for tomorrow to see how they're evolving, and then maybe start looking for a couple of entries on altcoins starting on tomorrow. Because at this point, I still want to consolidate in the zone that we are. If you have maybe a different opinion, Alex, let me know, and maybe you can do some altcoins, or if not, maybe we can start wrapping the class up. You lead the way.
I think with the altcoins, like OC said, we need to be patient. I mean, if we're looking at altcoins, right? Let me show you here. If I'm looking for altcoins, what am I looking for? Right? So we have our daily here on Solana, right? If I take off all of this, what does Solana need to do, right? That's the question. Oh, thanks, wife. OC got married officially yesterday, I think. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh.
My wife says congratulations.
Thank you also. Thank you.
He says thank you. So Solana here, downtrend, right? What's our rule really with chart prime, with like long-term, short-term trends here? We want to see this get above what? Dynamic reactor, okay? On at least, like, I would say minimum 4 hour. Minimum? What would you say, OC?
Yeah, you know
For
that
trend.
I'm all in for 4 hours. Yeah. Minimum.
So are we near it? 1 second. We're starting to get above it, right? And we're holding it. However, can we come back down here? Does it look like we're overextended? Right? Does this look like it needs to come down before it goes up? I would say yes. That would be me. So it's being objective. Also, if we go on our market structure, we can see we flip bullishly in here as well. Okay? But if we go to our 12-hour, we want to see this taken. Look at this big rejection we have right now. Okay? Very different story on the 12-hour, right? Flipping bullishly, but big rejection in here. Okay? So, in my opinion, I would like for this to be taken. We know where our critical support is. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. Look at this. You go here. You go here. What is this? This is a range. So I would like to see this high taken, but really I would like to see acceptance above this range, right? Now, will it be too late then? That's why we look here first, right? And then we can look for that. And we want to see strength. What does strength mean? I mean, if we're looking at volume here, I want to see this hold. Okay? Hold, 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 right? If we hold here, then we can look to go higher, right? If we mitigate the high and we hold here, then we look for up, but not until then. And that's how I would treat altcoins. And Solana looks the strongest out of a lot of them. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so I think it's time for us to wrap the class up. Be patient today in the altcoin zones. Starting on today, I don't want to chase over prices that have already moved. That's why we're not going over altcoins. We need to see retracement, we need to see structure, and then on the structure, we prepare for the next bounce, either up or down. Don't worry, man. Don't worry, guys. We're gonna catch them. Not all. This is not Pokemon, but we're gonna catch some good ones. So other than that, guys, Alex, would you do the honors? Because your voice now sounds amazing this time.
Yeah, I'm feeling better for sure. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Happy Easter. Touch some grass, have some fun, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, all right? Take care, everybody.
Take care, everybody, and as always, see you guys tomorrow.